I'm Brian, and my major is Digital Innovation and Design. Your support will help students like me. Did you know it's Bronco Giving Day? If you listen to Boise State Public Radio, it's run by broadcast professionals and students like me. Thank you.
Help us connect across campus and through our community. You can fund our student programs with your gift on Bronco Giving Day. Learn more and support at boisestatepublicradio.org.
This is The Connector, Boise State Public Radio's daily news podcast, Idaho Daily News. Good morning. I'm Troy Oppie. It is Thursday, February 27th. The latest attempt to upend Idaho's no-excuse absentee ballot law died in a House committee yesterday. We'll have more on that. Could states in our region partner on the future of energy? And a jump in the number of job-related fatalities in Idaho, the highest number in a decade 2 years ago. We'll have those stories, lots more, on The Connector this morning from Boise State Public Radio News. Governor Brad Little has until 11:46 a.m. this morning to take action, or not, on House Bill 93, which establishes a $5,000 tax credit for families to use for private school costs. The credit is higher for special education students. Critics say the bill lacks accountability for schools, which would be receiving public funds. The governor can sign or veto the bill or take no action, allowing it to become law without his signature. But if he's going to act, that deadline is late this morning. The latest attempt to upend Idaho's no-excuse absentee ballot law died in a House committee yesterday. James Dawson has this update from the State House.
The bill from Republican Representative Joe Alfieri would have required a voter to meet certain conditions to get an absentee ballot.
I want you to have a conscious reason for applying for that absentee ballot rather than saying it's a convenience factor.
Those excuses would have included if someone were working, attending school, or if they were 65 or older. Alfieri says the move would reduce the likelihood of voter fraud, which is not a problem in Idaho. Most people who testified Wednesday opposed the bill, including Boise resident Mary Ruck.
There's absolutely no reason for me or any voter to have to justify how I choose to vote.
Secretary of State Phil McGrain also opposed it, saying it would cut access to absentee ballots without making them more secure. The bill died on a tie vote. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
The governor is celebrating the Idaho LAUNCH education grant program, which he says is pushing enrollment higher across the state. In a news release, the governor Wednesday says enrollment rose 9% across all Idaho institutions, but was up 25% in the Magic Valley region alone. Community college enrollment was up 15%, the governor said. 23% more students with low GPAs were moving on to take post-secondary classes. That's a demographic among the least likely to continue education beyond high school. And 16% more Hispanic students are going on as well. Students can apply for launch funding up to $8,000 to cover most of the costs of tuition. The deadline for applications for the coming year is April 15th. Governor Little proclaimed March launching Idaho's Workforce Month. He's proposed adding $25 million to the $75 million grant program, an increase lawmakers will need to approve. In 2023, Idaho saw its highest number of job-related fatalities in a decade. That's according to the latest report from the Federal Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries. Julie Luqueta has more.
48 people died in workplace incidents in Idaho in 2023, a 23% increase from the previous year. The fatalities are incidents like falls and equipment failures and don't include deaths from pre-existing conditions, like a heart attack happening at work. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, conducted investigations into 4 of the workplace fatalities that year and issued citations for 2 of them. In Idaho, transportation incidents accounted for half of all on-the-job fatalities. Contact deaths were the second cause of death in Idaho. That's when victims are struck by or exposed to something that kills them. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, construction sites are some of the most dangerous workplaces in the country for overall injuries, but transportation and material moving industries see the most fatalities. Julie Luqueta, Boise State Public Radio News.
A Caldwell firefighter and longtime State Fire Chiefs Association member and leader died in 2022 of a medical event suffered at home. The city of Caldwell says former Deputy Chief Brad Trusky's death is now being reclassified as a line-of-duty death. That will allow specific fallen service member benefits from the Department of Justice to go to his family. The city of Caldwell did not offer details on their appeal for the change, but said it will allow his dedication and sacrifice to be recognized. Federal fallen service member benefits are available to first responders who are disabled and surviving family members following a fatality. Lawmakers in Utah are discussing the future of energy, but it's not just a discussion at that state's capital. A partnership with bordering states like Idaho could be in the works, as Sean Higgins reports for the Mountain West News Bureau.
Idaho and Wyoming could one day join forces with Utah on energy production. House Majority Leader Jefferson Moss says the idea for his resolution makes sense because of the state's similar geography and economies,
but also similar goals, ideals, desires on how we want to continue to develop out all of the above energy strategies.
Increasing political differences between Utah, Idaho, and Wyoming and other more progressive western states like Oregon, Washington, and California have also driven a wider energy discussion. Democratic Senator Nate Bluen says he's all for regional cooperation, but he worries about the consequences of cutting off Utah from other energy systems.
Anytime you're crossing transmission lines and crossing from one utility's territory into another, you're going to see additional rates tacked on to the cost of sending that power around the region.
Moss says similar legislation is being explored in Idaho and Wyoming. Sean Higgins, KUER News.
That story comes to us through the Mountain West News Bureau. The city of Ketchum is shutting down plans for a new workforce housing development and parking garage near the center of town. The Mountain Express reports the City Council and Urban Renewal Agency commissioners paused the project indefinitely after negative public reaction to the parking garage component and the local improvement district tax that was going to help pay for about two-thirds of the $21 million cost. The parking garage was included to appease local business owners worried about the loss of more than 6 parking spots in the lot where the housing would be built. And without the garage, the housing development is not going to move forward. 60% of about 650 people who participated in the open access survey reported they didn't like the proposal. With the project stalled, Urban Renewal Agency Commissioner Gary Lipton suggested the agency sell the property at First and Washington in Ketchum and move on from what he called, quote, a festering cold sore. The property will no longer be housing, but no decision on what to do with it was reached. In sports, Boise State star running back Ashton Jeanty will reportedly not participate in on-field drills at the upcoming NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Multiple national media reports indicate Jeanty will meet with teams and undergo the medical evaluations, but is planning to save the 40-yard dash, 3-cone drill, and other field drills for his pro day in Boise later this spring. Bronco men's basketball last night got a big win at home, beating Utah State by 17. 4 Broncos scored in double figures, led by 21 from Tyson Degenhart. There are 3 games left in the regular season: Fresno State, Air Force, and Colorado State. Seeding in the upcoming conference tournament is still at stake, plus a chance at an NCAA tournament bid for the Broncos. That's The Connector on this Thursday. I'm Troy Oppie. Our news director is Sasha Woodruff. Our digital strategy manager is Lacey Daly. Our general manager is Tom Michael. This is a production of Boise State Public Radio News, listener-funded NPR in Idaho. Today is Bronco Giving Day, and we're asking our listeners who so generously support us to chip in to help our student employee fund that helps pay for the student workers that work here, not only in the newsroom, but supporting engineering, our membership team, and elsewhere at the station. It's critical experience that supports the future of public media. If you can give on Bronco Giving Day, visit boisestate.edu and click the Bronco Giving banner, or pick up the phone and call 208-426-1190. Thanks so much. We'll catch you again tomorrow.
Each morning, it's a new opportunity, a chance to start fresh. Up First from NPR makes each morning an opportunity to learn and to understand. Choose to join the world every morning with Up First, a podcast that hands you everything going on across the globe and down the street, all in 15 minutes or less. Start your day informed and anew with Up First by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts.